Yo, I hit a
Gotta wake up, man. Good to go. Oh my god. I just yawned like 50 times in 10 minutes. Mm. Mm. tiger? Pretty shameless.
Куда он зашкирился? Только ты, блядь, не убей! Блядь! Вон он, блядь, ебать его! Гнида! Ходите, не обижу нахуй! Сука, стрелял-то нахуй! Вот давай! Вон он, упырь! Ублюдок, мать твою, а ну иди сюда, говно собачье! Решил ко мне лезть. Заебись, удачно зашли. Вон он, сука!
Cheating. Like, bro, come on, man. Ah. Brother, you're not him. Rombero. Rombero. These people are like literally not real. He has no info on where I'm at precisely, and he throws the perfect nade. Whoops! It happens. GG, I guess. Am I pissed or am I just chilling? I think I'm just chilling. No reason to be pissed at that. Sometimes you just can't do anything versus diaper gamers. How it is, man. What? So the guy took all the mags? Surely I just don't break my legs. Yeah. Yeah.
Back in.
Je sais, Guiden. Non, on va y aller tantôt. Non, pas maintenant. On arrive de là. On arrive de là, Mia. Va coucher, Mia. Do these guys like just like literally don't know what to do, or?
Вали, вали, хуй!
These guys are looting my Marco. I thought those were the guards. Oh my god. I thought those were the guards. Oh man. I thought that was the fucking guards, bro. What's up with people like just fucking not moving? Like, why are these guys still there? Why are these guys not at Kaban? I don't know. Weird gameplay, weird people. People seems like to have info that you don't.
A random Wikipedia page with Trump's name. However, just because the name existed in the files, Democrats ran with it, right? I also looked at the FBI call logs, okay? So that was the big one, the big, you guys know it. It had a big yellow highlighted, everything is highlighted, all of these victims that called the FBI. And no one looked deeper to see that that particular file specifically said that these individual calls had been deemed unreliable for various reasons.
Okay.
So my question is, sorry.
You're doing great.
What? I'm just so nervous.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
But what is the space that should be left, right, by the DOJ to protect people who are in these files but are not guilty?
It's a
because
great
we
question.
do not have a valid, reason to assume just because Epstein named someone that means that they're automatically guilty.
You're absolutely right. I mean, there shouldn't be a witch hunt. And there are a lot of people in those files who are totally innocent, who may be mentioned because they were in a news story, or maybe mentioned because someone was talking about them in an email. And I do not want this to be in any way like a McCarthy hunt that just because you're in the Epstein files, you're guilty. On the other hand, and you would probably acknowledge this, there are a lot of rich and powerful people in those files who showed up on Epstein's Island, who raped or abused these girls, who had girls trafficked to them, and they thought they were above the law. And I'm concerned, why are those people not being investigated and prosecuted? So we need to be going after the Epstein class. We don't need to go after every single person. And by the way, Massey and I never made this about Trump. Now, there is an allegation about one person, one woman who claims that she was abused or raped by President Trump when she was 13. I don't know if that's true or not. What I do believe is that the files in that case should come out.
And I hear what you're saying. The question I would ask you is, how much proof should we ask for, right? What is the burden of proof on the people that are seeking justice to demand that these names be released? Because the moment that a name is in those files, these people have to deal with that in their real lives, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about people walking around with their children that now have to deal with people attacking them online, attacking them in public, saying that they're pedophiles. These people might have just known Epstein. They might have just, sold him a house for all you know, right? At what point are you guys comfortable on the left, comfortable saying, you know what, we need more time to guarantee to go through these files personally and guarantee that we're only releasing names of people that are guilty? Because I'm super uncomfortable with the idea of releasing any name and starting, as you called it, a witch hunt when there is no reason to attack people who are innocent.
Well, usually the Department of Justice, as you know, doesn't release files, right? Because they don't want people who are innocent to be caught up unless there are charges filed. The problem here is that there were women who were raped as young girls by Epstein and other men, and they called the police and nothing happened. They called the FBI, nothing happened. And it's been decades that they've been denied justice. So there was a miscarriage of justice.
Not to cut you off, but would you also agree that there are a lot of files that make claims of rape that did not happen? Because I went through a lot of these files, and a lot of them were unsubstantiated claims. And I'm not claiming that nothing happened on the island.
Yeah.
It's a horrible place. But
you do believe, let me ask you this, you do believe that more than Epstein and Maxwell were involved in raping and abusing these
course,
girls?
But because of the horrendous nature of these crimes, I think it is irresponsible for us to relist every single name that's ever been, associated with Epstein and let the left make that a claim to guilt. It is not fair to those
I can't
people.
speak for the broader
Like, what if your
movement,
name is on the list?
But actually, Massey and me are in the Epstein
right.
files
So
because of our work.
Should we assume that you're guilty just because you're on that list?
But no one is. But I don't. I think the American people are fair. I don't think they think that Massey or I were on the island. Just because someone's in the Epstein files doesn't mean that they're guilty. Just
but
because
you're aware
someone
that your party does not do that, right? You're aware that your party came out, and the moment that these files dropped, they literally just searched Trump's name. They posted in there over 5,000 times, and they let the left go crazy with that information. And I had to go and do this research for myself and post a video to correct this.
But let me ask you this about, because you've a supporter of President Trump. I'd be curious why you did, and I'd be curious if the way they've handled all of this and not releasing it has made you lose any confidence in the administration.
Absolutely not. One, President Trump is probably one of the best presidents we've ever had. I thoroughly enjoy everything that he's doing. I have no problems with anything that he's doing. I don't care if anyone is mad about that.
Maybe in your
Also,
lifetime.
In regards to these files, again, if you're going to be a realist and you're going to be fair, I think that it is unreasonable to ask them to release all of the files. As you mentioned, this doesn't typically happen in an active investigation, right? This doesn't typically typically happen in general when it comes to evidence for such
But don't
a
you think they now
high-profile
have
crime.
to follow the law and open up at least some investigations against these
I
men?
agree, but I think we should have the names that need to be investigated.
So I'll give you two:
instead of
Les
giving it to
Wexner
everyone.
and Leon Black. There are credible
Sure.
allegations that they engaged in horrible things.
But are there
shouldn't
credible allegations against Trump? Because again,
But I'm
when
not
this
talking-
came
let's
out,
put Trump-
that was the entire
let's put Trump
discussion on
aside.
the left.
Why?
Вижу их! Давай, Матвей! Нет никого. Все, служивый! Вали кепку на! Здесь импортный! Попов нахуй, понял?
Not a scav? That's a player? These fucking people are such pussies, man. Literally moving like a fucking scab. Oh my god, man, these guys are not fucking... Bro, play the fucking game! On top of that, like, you're sucking your boyfriend's dick, like, Jesus Christ. Not cool, man. In last one raid. I'm gonna put on the other one. Yeah, this. It. Oh, it actually came back. Okay. Usually it just doesn't come back. Buffet.
Why not have Pam Bondi or others open up investigations? investigations against some of these other men.
We got to stop there. We're out of time.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. My next surrounded claim is that Howard Lutnick, Trump's Commerce Secretary, should resign.
All right, if you would like to debate this claim, please get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Antoine,
How you doing, sir?
did you bring me a hat?
I can get you one. You got to come back to North Carolina with me. That's where they're at.
Well, good to see you.
Good to see you, too. Look, we appreciate you being here. I got to go back to the first claim, though, just really quick.
Okay.
I would imagine if anyone in this room is believing criminal justice, it's me. I'm a 16-year law enforcement veteran.
Thank you for your
So we
service.
appreciate what you're doing. However, I believe that Pam Bundy is doing a good job. And I also believe that she is putting out the files as quick as she can with over 500 employees. I think that's what's working on this. FBI going through the redacted files.
Now, let me ask you, Antoine, because you've
think
been
she's
in
doing
law
pretty well.
enforcement. Do you think she should open up investigations against some of these men who either gave tons of money to Epstein in allegedly illegal ways or who were allegedly on the island raping underage girls? I mean, don't you think there should be some investigations and prosecutions?
I absolutely do believe that. And you said it earlier, Lex Wexner and Leon Black. We have to start there.
Good.
Those two
We're on the same page.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, I watched that 4-hour deposition with Lex Wexner. He funded the Epstein's exploitation of women
Yeah.
to be power of attorney and have all
Allegedly.
access to
Yeah,
this
just
money.
to be careful. So on an issue like this, even though you're a Trump supporter, this crosses the aisle for you, right? I mean, you agree with what Massey and I are doing in going
Absolutely.
after these type of people.
Criminal justice crosses the aisle for me. Now, when you move into the question of justice, we have to do that. I know you stated earlier you're getting likes and you're getting hate on both sides of the aisle. You put yourself in the predicament now, just like me being a MAGA supporter. Law
What
enforcement officer.
what makes you a Trump supporter?
Well, number one, I think he's sort of what Brother Austin said. He has tremendously helped this country when it comes to our economy. He's kept his promises no matter what we say about being here in this room with the Epstein files. He's kept his
Yeah, but
promise
he's-
with that.
you would want him
He's a
to
law and
prosecute
order.
it.
He's a law and order president and
What about
military.
this war in Iran, though? All this money going there?
Oh,
instead
absolutely.
of
Well,
here, coming here?
it's finally going somewhere that we are a part of. Of course, we gave billions of dollars under your party's administration with Biden to Ukraine to fund a war that we had nothing to do
But
with.
don't you think for now?
And we don't want Iran to have any nuclear
but
weapons. I agree
you know,
with
he's
him.
going to come at $200 billion to Congress. You certainly don't want $200 billion, right, to go into the Middle East war instead of funding things in North Carolina, jobs, health care, child care.
I agree with that, but if that stops Iran.
Well. Go kid it, they said. You'll have fun, they said. Bitcoin. The first time I see it in this room. That was level 20. He was trying to look for everything. How down bad he was. It's like a sad Markham, all these guns.
Наших бьет! Сука!
One, two, three, four. Oh, I killed you. I don't want to kill you. I finally live. Ooh, baby. Poor guy, man. Fucking. Yeah. Took my cock and slapped it on his face.
Iran from ever taking over the world with their missiles. Let's make it happen. We want a safer world for everyone.
I agree with that, but I don't
But let's
think.
go-
Anyway, let's
Yes,
go back
sir.
to the claims. What about
Lutnick.
Lutnick resigning in terms of here's my problem with Lutnick, and you tell me what I may miss. He went on television and he said, I never met Epstein after 2005. And
Well, he did.
Donald Trump actually in 2006 placed a phone call saying that Epstein was a terrible guy, that
He
he was
did?
doing terrible things. Now,
Kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago too because of those reasons.
so why would you then hire someone in your cabinet who is lying about when he met Epstein and then goes with his whole family and meets Epstein in 2012? He lied to the American public. If you lied as a law enforcement officer, would you still have your job?
Depends on what the lie was. But if you're looking at someone, we have to go back to Joe Biden. How about his son Hunter Biden?
And I am telling you, I have not seen one shred of convincing evidence that Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk. Not one. To hop up on here to make sure everybody is aware of what is going on right now. I am seized, obviously, by the Charlie Kirk assassination trial. And I want to make sure I'm breaking down to the public what is happening because there is a hearing live right now. The defense versus the prosecution. Prosecution is representing Erica Kirk because she is the victim on this case. And you might recall that Erica did this news hit a while ago. It was kind of weird where she just asserted and then they passed around that she really wanted to make sure that her right to a speedy trial was observed, okay? And I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. Like, why? Well, it turns out that now we are understanding that this is going to be the prosecution's strategy. And I will be very clear here. I do not believe Tyler Robinson assassinated Charlie Kirk. And I believe that Turning Point USA is implicated in this moment in a cover-up of sorts, okay? What various roles were played, but to me, looking at the evidence, which I have done more than anybody else, there is a cover-up taking place. And this hearing proves it, okay? So they were supposed to have a probable cause hearing in May. It is slated on the calendar. When they agreed to do this in May, the defense, Tyler Robinson's defense, was like, well, we shouldn't set a date until we all get our discovery requests. And they were like, we're just going to put it on the calendar. Don't worry. We're just going to throw it on the calendar. And then, of course, if you guys don't have what you need, the case will not go forward. Lo and behold, Erica goes on Fox News and says, I want to make sure to speedy trial on the victim, whatever. And so now we're hearing that directly from the defense, and the prosecution is not disputing this, they both agree that the ATF and the FBI will not hand over their data files that they have had in their possession since September, despite multiple requests from the defense. They're like, we literally cannot have this hearing because we have not been given any data files. What am I talking about? This is crucial. Erica's team is arguing, we want the hearing to go through anyways, it's just a probable cause hearing. Okay, but they are basing this probable cause hearing, they want this to be televised, and they're going to say, what evidence do you have that Tyler Robinson did this? And the prosecution is going to say, well, we have his fingerprints that are on the gun. Well, what they're not telling you is that they're saying they have his fingerprints on the gun. That's just a summary report that the FBI gave to the defense. The defense is saying, okay, now can we see the digitized files? Can we see the fingerprints? Can we see your process and how you got this? No. You just get the summary. The summary report is all you need. No, actually, we need to make sure that what you're saying you saw and what you have is real. Also, aren't there 5 other sets of print? No, all you get is our summary report saying that Tyler Robinson's fingerprints are on the gun. Similarly, the ATF is also refusing to hand over for some unknown reason. It actually is kind of a known reason. Like, we don't know, but we know the reason of talking about the gun. They are also unable to get the chain of custody. Again, probable cause hearing. Erica's prosecution is going to say, well, we saw Tyler Robinson get onto the rooftop at this time. We saw Tyler Robinson get into his car at this time. Well, the defense is saying they won't give us the chain of custody. So basically, we can't dispute anything they're saying. It's possible, highly possible, that actually those images were taken on a different day. How do we know if you don't hand us over the files, if we can't see the chain of custody, how these files were created, who it was transferred over to? Otherwise, all we have is a report that said, well, Tyler Robinson, the FBI concluded, jumped onto the rooftop at 12:19 p.m. before taking a shot at Charlie Kirk. We don't have to give you any more. That is the argument that Erica's team is making right now. That, well, it's just a probable cause hearing, so it doesn't really matter. We want things to go through. She's a victim. She wants things to happen quickly. And their defense is making a very valid, a very layered, a not complex argument for anybody who has common sense to understand that there can be no going forward until we have what we need, because we can't dispute what you're saying. We're just supposed to trust me, bro, when it comes to the FBI, who has butchered this case and told us the most unbelievable things since the very beginning. This cannot happen. Never did I think that we would be alive for something like JFK. You grow up, you hear the stories about JFK, you hear the conspiracies, you hear about the corruption of the feds, you hear about LBJ's potential involvement, and you think this will never again happen in the United States of America, and we're never going to be able to experience that. That is happening right now. Every person should pivot, go find, there's live feeds on YouTube, there's live feeds that are on Twitter, and rewatch what is playing out right now in the courtroom, where they are arguing that the ATF and the FBI should not have to hand over their files, just their report, their summary, their conclusion, absent any digitized or data that is included in these summaries, and you should just trust them and go forward with the hearing. This cannot happen. This cannot stand. I will state again, over and over, with everything that I have looked at, I don't think there's a single soul who has given more of their life, spent more hours examining this case from every aspect than me, because I deeply care about this. And I am telling you, I have not seen one shred of convincing evidence that Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk. Not one, okay? And the fact that his wife is trying to play this, what I would say to be a sleight of hand, not granting a continuance, take it from someone who is perpetually sued. I have never been in a case where both sides don't just agree to a general continuance. Even me and Brigitte, despite our differences, have agreed to a continuance when we were like, oh, the date that was set, can we push it back? And Brigitte's team just agreed to it. It's almost like just something that you do out of respect for understanding that things have to be done. Why is Erica's team arguing this? They should say, we don't agree with what the FBI is doing. Of course, we want you able to reasonably defend yourself, because we want the public to believe that this is not a show trial, right? We want the public to believe that Tyler Robinson did this. They have been signaling to the public that the evidence is so overwhelming. They're overwhelmed. They wake up, they have to pop a Xanax because they're just so overwhelmed by how obvious it is that Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk. And yet, they're trying to play this game right now. So overwhelming, we don't have the data from September. We just have what Kash Patel and the ATF says happened in their summary reports, but we really should just get on with this trial. This is like a hoax being played upon the American public. Shame, absolute shame, that Charlie's friends are in office right now. The people that he fought to put in office are allowing this charade to go on. Donald Trump, Vance, and Kash Patel are allowing this charade to go on. Why don't they pick up the phone and demand that Kash Patel send over the files? Since they all love Erica so much, she's so innocent, she's so wonderful, we love her, we want the public to get off of her. So why don't you pick up the phone and command your FBI and your ATF to hand over the files so Erica can have her speedy trial? Oh, I know. Because it didn't happen. We all know the story that they are giving us is absolute fed slop, but this trial that is going on right now should awaken everybody's eyes to how despicable the narrative is that they are trying to serve us, okay? Truth does not fear introspection. Send over the files, okay? and bring us to your side. But don't think that we're going to fall for this nonsense of a summary report and you presenting. There's so much evidence, it's overwhelming. No one believes this, and I am literally on fire right now and just needed to rant because I'm watching this and shouting at my screen because I cannot believe the audacity of Erica Kirk, okay? People, you can call me whatever you want. I'm happy to be public enemy number 1, 2, and 3. I find her to be malevolent, and that's all I'll say about that.
Lol. Funny.
I'm being with those guys, and then all day I'm getting texted. Did you know Tucker Carlson called you out? He said you said bad things about Catholics. How dare you slander Catholics? Is what he said. So maybe we'll show the clip, but I'm going to react to that separately because I don't want to be a lot of noise when I react to it. I will properly react to Tucker's call out and address it. And then apparently there was a Turning Point USA event that took place. With the Turning Point USA event, if I'm not mistaken, Erica Kirk couldn't show up because there was a threat, but JD did show up, but not a lot of people showed up. Is that kind of, am I saying it correctly or no? Something like that. And so Vinny's got some thoughts on it. So do I. We'll talk about that. And then California voters, Tom just revealed it right now. There's two things that California voters are voting for their governor. And Tom's going to reveal what those two things are. And he's got the stats behind it. You know how Tom rolls. He doesn't fool around. Tom's a serious guy, okay? And he's going to share with you guys what's going on over there. And then there's the ceasefire between Lebanon and Israel. They're even agreeing to meet together at, I don't know, Islamabad. I don't know where they're willing to meet to have the negotiation. And Trump said if the deal gets done, he's willing to go to get the ceasefire done, not the ceasefire, the negotiation done. This, by the way, this blockade is working so effectively. They're saying it's more powerful than what they're doing with their weapons because there was apparently a Chinese a vessel from Chinatown, if I'm not mistaken, that's coming through. And you actually have to see how the military tells them to other ships. I don't know if this was a specific one. Hey, I'll try to paraphrase it in a little bit more diplomatic way, but this is what they said. Turn your ass around and go the other way, or we're going to blow your ass up. That's kind of like how they said military language. They're younger. They talk like that. But it was a lot more diplomatic on the way they did it. Can you imagine? These are 19, 20-year-old kids, young men that are protecting the world, handling these ships. 19, 20 years old, Vinny, they're out there doing the work. Unbelievable. God bless them. Absolutely. Thank you for your service. We have the freedom to do what we're doing because of these young men that are serving out there. So that's that part. And then what else we have with some oh, there's a video that's just such a disturbing video. I don't even want to play it, but we have to play it with this, you know, a gay couple who are apparently in Hollywood. They're the award-winning type of couple. And they're holding this boy that I think they just adopted. And the boy's asking for mom. And he starts crying. It's a very, very difficult video to watch, but we'll watch it. I've always had a problem with this. I've talked about it openly. It's cost me some relationships that I just think when it comes down to adopting kids, you have to adopt them to certain families. You got to be a little bit more careful. It wasn't too long ago that we were not okay with what we're doing today, but it is what it is. I've literally had issues with this, and I've openly talked about it. And some people don't like my position on it, but it is what it is. You can call me old school, whatever you want to call me. I'm not changing that position for myself. Aside from that, a few other things that's going on that we got to get into with Iran using Chinese satellite to target U.S. bases before attack that took out Air Force planes. And Trump found out about this. Like, hey, what are we doing here? What is this all about? There's some, you know, Dan and I were speaking this morning. He says, look, some of this may be because, you know, the debt, and we're going to go do this with the dollar. There's so many ways, if this ends up coming out good for him, it'll be another one of those things for him to add to his resume that everybody lost their minds and then he ended up winning. If he ends up winning, if he ends up coming out of it. There was a question one of the reporters asked, Rob, I don't know if you have this clip or not, if you want to find it, because I'm going to go to it. When the reporter says, Mr. President, did you hear about Iran is about to kill 4, with one being the first woman? And Trump looks at her and says, have you told the Pope that? Go tell the Pope. Go tell the Pope. And it was interesting to say that to the Pope. And then J.D. Vance at the TPUSA event said a few things about the Pope. Franklin Graham said some things about defending Trump's position with the picture, hey, all that other stuff, even though the president ended up taking that picture down. I mean, I don't know if you heard or not. That picture was taken down. The president is not one that takes things down, but he was able to take it down. He did end up taking it down. Then there's something else going on called the Stop Nick Shirley Act. Can you imagine? They don't want people to be exposed in California. And so they're coming out with this thing called the Stop Nick Shirley Act, which, you know, it is what it is. We applaud Nick for what he's doing. He's doing a great job out there. We hope he continues. And he keeps getting funded by others that are supporting what he's doing as a young man, putting himself on the line. It's not the safest thing he's doing, but that's where courage comes with it. So, and last but not least, this one story, which is good news. More young men say religion is very important to them. And this is not a New York Post story. Vinny, this is a New York Times story.
Really?
Okay, yes. Young men turning to religion, very important to them. Last night at the Cigar Lounge, I don't know if you know Victor Belfort. Victor Belfort was... Vitor Belfort was one of the greatest fighters of all time. We watched him for many, many years. He is a crazy, crazy guy when it comes down to fighting. He's there, we're talking together, and he says, you know why I love, you know, what you guys do in the brand and all? I said, why? He says, because it's important for you to be a great father, right? And we talked about young men, faith. He's got 3 kids. All of them know how to fight. The oldest is a boy. He's got 2 young girls, I believe. Just a very good conversation with the guy. You're seeing more and more young men turning to God, realizing they cannot do this anymore. And a lot of the divisiveness, the games are like, look, man, I need someone's help. I need God's help to be on my side. So with that being said, before we get started, we have something very, very special to introduce to you here today from Vinny. So, Vinny, share with us what good news you have.
Well, Pat, that story leads into exactly what's going on with the brand new hat. I've been so excited. We finally have it. So many of you guys have been asking for this, the black on white Faith Over Fear hat with the cross on the right, our shield, and then Hebrews 11:1 on the back. And by the way, and I tell people this all the time, Pat, this isn't just a hat. It's letting people know exactly where you stand. Faith in Jesus Christ and no fear. That's the mindset and that's the life. And as you just said, there's a Gallup poll, Pat. There's a shift happening right now. The Gallup poll showed 42% of men ages 18 to 29 say religion is very important in their lives. That's up 28%, okay? That's a huge jump, and people are leaning into faith. And if you want to represent that, guys, go to vtmerch.com. The supply is really limited. These things are going to go fast, guys. I walked into the studio today, and already 4 people did. Everybody's like, yo, when am I getting my hat? So this is it, guys. Faith over fear. Faith, you have nothing. If you have faith in Christ, you have no fear about job, life, death, anything. And this
Stop trying to sell it like that, bro. That's...
And place your order. I
much.
guarantee you, these are going to go fast.
No, they look.
They're ridiculous.
This is the only thing Humberto wears.
Humberto's been wearing it, but by the way, he had it before I had it.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened.
He took it from me. He took it
stole
from
it.
me. So I'm going to wear this hat today because I think it's good to have faith over fear. So go to vtmerch.com, place your order, represent it, go to work, confuse people a little bit. And not only confuse, create a story. Tell your testimony after that, but it's a great way to start a conversation. All right, let's get right into it. So, you ready for the most important data, Tom? Can you tell us the most important stat of today? That was $119
that was
just a few
like
days ago, barrel.
whack.
How much are oil prices right now?
The market's going to open in 6 minutes. Crude oil is at 83.
What does that mean? The fact that it dropped down to 83?
That there is confidence and stability in the oil markets. And remember, this adventure started at 65 to 67. That was the nominal price of oil back in late January through Valentine's Day, before the fun started. And so now we're sitting on $83, $84, which means the oil market is down. This is a very good thing, and the overall markets are up. The S&P is at 7140, which in pre-market, which is an all-time high.
All-time highs.
S&P.
S&P 500.
So, but aren't people trying to celebrate for the economy to do bad and, for it to be a, bad look for the president? Isn't it supposed to be like a massive drop-off, Tom?
So, people like MSNBC and our good friend on MSNBC are really having a tough time this morning.
Yeah.
Because once upon a time, they had that tingling feeling in their leg, and they were so happy about Obama. And now people like Chris Matthews he said it, not me. He said it. And now They're sitting there with their coffee, absolutely devastated because the American economy looks like it's
By the way,
shifting,
do you know-
and it looks like gas might be more affordable for people, so there's no one to yell at this summer. What will they do?
Chris Matthews hasn't been at MSNBC for a while. It's the other
a long
tall,
time.
weird-looking guy. So
Very
he-
long
yes,
time.
that tells you how much.
I'm glad you
no,
corrected
I'm just talking about-
Me and Tom are in peace negotiations
saying
right now. I didn't
wherever-
want to correct
So
you, Tom.
let's go into
But
that
you are
topic.
right.
Let's go into that.
90%.
Wherever he is, he no longer is getting a tingling feeling in his
Way to
so,
go. Way to
so let's go into this topic
clean
that
that
we have. So, Rob, Lebanon, Israel ceasefire. What is the latest with this? Because the 10-day ceasefire in Lebanon begins as Israel agrees to U.S.-backed deal. President Trump announced the agreement, which went into force Thursday evening as Pakistani mediators work to extend U.S.-Iran ceasefire and arrange new talks. If you want to go a little bit lower, Rob, in Beirut, a tentative 10-day was set up. The ceasefire was announced on Thursday by the president and confirmed by Bibi in a late.
Biden. They covered up the laptop deal. They did all that with the drugs. They did it with the weapons.
Look, I'm not going to.
I know, but if we're going to talk about President Trump's administration, well, I think Mr. Luckman is doing a great job. Look at what he did in 9/11.
What?
He had over 350 employees that were killed in the 9/11.
And that was a terrible tragedy.
Yes, terrible.
But don't you think he owes at least the country an apology for lying and saying, "Hey, I shouldn't have said that I never met him"?
I think he should have been forthcoming, should have been straight, honest about it. What we do know, when he went to Jeffrey Epstein's island,
Falling asleep. I think I'm gonna go take a nap and just get on later. Should not do that. Because everything's like super expensive at night. Alright, I'll try to be back sooner than later.